Welcome back to another unboxing video, and in this one we are looking at this magnificent beast, which is the Hurricane MkIIc tropical version from Arma Hobby in 1/48 scale. This is the second iteration of their newly produced kit of the Hurricane, which the first one came out, I don't know, a couple of months back, and I know that it was causing a hell of a lot of noise on the internet. Everybody was all around it, everybody made a lot of unboxing videos, a lot of build videos, so it was a very anticipated kit, probably as much anticipated or even more as the Qatari Spitfire. Nevertheless, they produced an amazing kit, and I wanted to have the tropical version. I'm not a huge Hurricane fan, but I do like some tropical chin on my planes, be it Spitfire or Hurricane, and I was waiting patiently to get this one rather than the previous one. And I know that there is a Sea Hurricane coming up as well, but again, that's really not my cup of tea. But if you like them, wait for those or get them as well. I bet there are people who are going to get all three versions, but for me, this is the one that I wanted. So let's get right into it. First off, let's have a look at the amazing artwork in the front. Looks absolutely gorgeous. And then let's look on the side. We have the artwork and what the set contains in Polish and English. Then here, artwork, scale, name, and over here where it was made, website, customer care, everything. Warning, it's made out of plastic. Don't feed it to onions between the age of 0 to 14. And here as well, same thing, just in a vertical position. And on the back side, I think this looks very, very nice. I would love to have this after I made the kit, to cut this out and put it on the wall, framed. I think there are a lot of people who think this way as well, but anyway, looks lovely. So let's open her up. And the usual Arma Hobby style boxing, it opens on the sides. It's a bit tricky because it has an internal box. So I know how much modelers like myself love to have a box within a box. So even this is already worth the 45 euros. Having two boxes, man, I love me some boxes. Anyway, we have a set of sprues, 3 sprues and 1 set of clear parts. Let's put them on the side. Then we have this thing, which is masking for the canopy and the wheels, something that still not many manufacturers do, which is a shame, because I think this is something that in this day and age is a must-have. One of the hardest parts with planes are the canopies, and it would be nice if we would get this by default. And then we have a set of decals, lovely decals. I should put them aside. And then we have the instruction panel, instruction booklet panel. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it slipped out. Anyway, let's put this on the side, and of course we have this lovely box, nice and sturdy. It's really good to hold things in it. Okay, let's not joke around, let's get into the meat. And by meat, let's start with the instruction sheet. I should say, well, just let me make some room. I should say that I haven't built anything from Arma Hobbies yet, so I'm looking forward to this one. I do have one other kit from them in my stash, which is a Fokker E5 It's a beginner kit, I think, in 1/72nd scale. I haven't started it yet, but anyway, I heard a lot of good things about Arma Hobby. I saw some videos of the first iteration of this Hurricane as well, and yeah, I thought to myself that I want to get in on that action. So, first page, introduction, tiny amount of historical information about the Hurricane as usual in Polish and English. Then you have the content listed here, and then you have all the paint listed, all the color callouts, and all the coding for Hataka, AK, RC, real colors, that's AK real colors, live color, ammo by MkIIc, Humbrol, Vallejo, and Tamiya. So quite an extensive list of paint manufacturers right there. And then let's go on the first page. We are having to decide on something very crucial, whether we want to have the auxiliary tanks or the bombs. And there is a nice color coding of red and blue indicating which holes you need to drill out. Then we go on to assemble the gear bay, and nothing really standing out here that would. And here is some information. Paint the wheels with the underside color of the chosen paint scheme. Yeah. Okay, so whichever paint scheme you choose, that underside color will be used within the bay. Nice to know. Okay. Then assembling the seat, adding the harnesses, which are decals, so we don't have any PE sheets or anything. These are all decals, which is you could potentially put the decals on paper, cut the paper out, and then have a bit of a thickness to it. I know some people do it with aluminum foil, or aluminium foil for the British. And then we have this armor plating, so that the pilot's head is not going to be blown clean off from behind. And then we put the assembled gear bay into the upper part of the wings. Then there is some more information about color red, blue, depending on what you choose first, so going with the bombs or the auxiliary tank. Then here as well some information about cutting things off, which is good that they give some extra information, not just showing like an X-Acto knife image with the text saying cut it off. Okay, thanks, I will cut it off, and then what's next, right? Then we have the assembly of the two wing parts. This is a tad different what might one be used to, where you have the lower wing part together with the bottom of the fuselage, and then you have two separate upper wing parts. Here you have everything like in one piece for the upper wings as well, so just two wing pieces. And then we move on, we put together the frames that go within the cockpit, some color callouts as well here. Yeah, I try to get rid of the glare for you. Then rudder pedals, more frames, more assembly, so you put together everything. This is the control stick. Here as well, they were kind enough to do a close-up showing that the firing button is brass, and then the handle is going to be, I presume, black. And then you put the control stick and the seat with the armor plating behind it together up there. Then you go over, you turn everything around again, you put some pistons or rods or whatever they are into the gear bay. Moving on, then we look at the instrument panel. That I guess is going to be the compass or something or other. And then you put the instrument panel in to its place, put some extra stuff on the side of the cockpit walls here as well. I think this is going to be probably a clear part. No, footstep in the low position. It's a separate footstep that you put in. Wow, that is great. So you can even make it so that the footstep is going to be open in use or something like that. Okay, you assemble the fuselage halves and then you put it on top of that top. Okay, and here is something for model with closed canopy, remove rails marked with red. Okay, yeah, I can see that this might be an issue if you do it afterwards you did all the assembly of the fuselage parts. So you want to do this probably before you even do this here. So like cut the railing off and then you can put and then assemble everything else right after you did this, and then you are going to have probably an easier time. See, this is why they say that you should read the instructions first, but let's be honest, who does that all the time? I know I didn't, or I know I never do, I should say, and yeah, and it does bite me in the modeler's ass from time to time, and I shouldn't be like this. I should take good care and some time to look at the instruction sheets before I do anything on the model. Anyway, radiator, the intake for that, and then the bottom part, and the intake comes in 3 parts. And then you have the horizontal stabilizer put together, then vertical rudder putting it onto the fuselage, then you have the rear, and then you have the main landing wheels here, putting everything together. Yeah, looking good. Well, one thing I don't see here is no option for closed landing gears, but I'm hoping that if Arma Hobby did everything right, then these panels, the landing gear panels, are going to fit quite nicely into their closed position without any problem, and it will be really easy to make this plane into an in-flight plane. Then you have a choice here as well regarding which option you go with. Then you add the targeting sight at the end, and next up is the bottom of the wings, and you add the gun ports. Well, these are cannons really, so you add the cannons to the wing, the pitot tube, landing lights, and we have the props. Again, you have 2 types of cones depending on, I presume, what you choose. And then you have this nice big tropical chin as well that you have to add to it. I just love a big chin plane myself. I do have my eyes on a Tempest at some point because those chins are massive. Okay, then we have again choice which canopy you want. then assembling the bomb and the auxiliary tank. Of course, you don't do both, you do either or you might not do either of them at all, and you go without tanks or bombs. And then of course choice, but this choice is already made at the very first page. And then let's have a look at the markings. Okay, this one is from spring 1944, called Hurry Bomber. I presume it was operating in the Pacific because it's 1944 and it's a very different color scheme and everything than what you would get at a tropical one. It looks interesting, but I'm here for the tropical experience, nothing else. So let's look at the second one. Now this is something I would like. Yeah, looking good. And this doesn't have anything attached on the bottom, and it only has one cannon, while this has two. Interesting. Let's see the third one. There is not much of a difference to the second one in terms of color scheme. The camouflage is a bit different, but it's, yeah, that's the thing with the British planes, isn't it? When you've seen one, you've seen them all a bit. Okay, this comes with the auxiliary tanks and 4 cannon on the wings, and this is from Egypt 1942 to 43. So that was the instruction sheet. Now let's have a look at the decals. They are looking gorgeous, I should say, before we even get any further. First, let me use a bit of glare to show you how much of an overhang is there, and it's not much. Though you can see that the markings, the letters, do have the middle part does have the carrier film, so you could go and cut that out if you want to make sure that you won't have any silvering at all. And then you have some nose art, baloney nose art over there, that's for the Pacific one. Everything looks nice and crisp. And let's look at the instrument panel. Wow, that is cool. You can see that there is a lot of fine detail in white for the markings and the needles of the instruments, everything. I bet it's going to look gorgeous when you put it on the black painted panel itself. Then you even have some extras over there for, I think that is going to be the compass that I mentioned. And then you have the anti-slip parts. I don't know if I would want to put that on as a decal. I would probably paint it rather. I don't know it yet. And then you have stencil information, the harnesses. As I said, these are decals, and some oops, and Bambi. Well, it's probably not Bambi, but I know that the Flying Tigers had that character done by Disney. I don't think this is going to be Disney. Okay, and then AX. Okay, it looks nice, and yeah, I'm just going by that. That really looks like a gazelle, doesn't it? So I highly doubt that it would be Bambi, but I am going to stick with that anyway. Okay, looking good. Next up is to have a look-see at the masking, and that looks good. The same kind of paper that you get with what you call it, masking tapes. Yeah, that is pretty much the same for both of the canopies and the wheels and a couple of other things I see. I presume these are going to be the wing lights. Okay, next up is going to be the plastic. Now let's get into the meat of it, the glorious plastic. Let's open it up. It's a resealable bag, which is always good. It's always a nice bonus. Then we have the clear parts, and then what we've all been waiting for, the plastic. So let's start with the wings. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I can already feel all the little tiny bumps from the rivet detail on there just through the glove. Wow, that is amazing. Let's go in. I assume it's going to be the same layout and everything as with the first version of this kit, but like this is the first time for me that I actually see it up close and personal, and that, my friends, is how a model should be made in 2023. This level of detail, this level of care should be the minimum for every model at this point. Look at that. It's amazing. And you have sunk recessed rivet detail and raised rivet detail. I don't know how accurate this is, but at this point I don't really care about accuracy because it's just gorgeous. It's, even if it's not 100%, if it's just 90-80%, I don't care. That is good enough for me. This is much better than anything else I had so far. Okay, yeah, that's good. The insides, yeah, these ejector ones are really interesting. I haven't seen these kind of ejector pins anywhere else, so I don't know why they are these. If you know, then let me know in the comments. And then we have the gun pods. Those look nice as well, although I know that Plasmo did make his own because he wasn't too keen on using these, but for me it's going to be good enough. I don't have a resin printer yet, but that should come at some point anyway. Okay, let's have a look at the second one. Let's start here. This is the bottom part of the fuselage, well, the end of the fuselage, the tail, and then we have the gear bay, and then we have the horizontal stabilizers. Again, that detail there, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but that detail right there is amazing. With those small, wouldn't call them rivets, I don't know what to call them. I'm not an engineer in that regard. I do software. Okay, and then more parts. I presume there's the gear bay as well. And then you have the wheels, and yes, I know that people have mentioned that even the wheels have the Dunlop text on them and everything. That's just yeah, you can't really argue with this kit. You can't really go and say it's like this is not good, I don't like it, because man, this kit is gorgeous. Now you can also see that on the landing gear panel there. Look at that intricate fine rivet detail. Here as well. Elevators look nice and sharp, with a bit of the sink mark of the canvas. And then here is the instrument panel that is looking sharp and crisp. Little detail right there. Some internal parts of the cockpit. You have the control stick handle right there, the frame, rudder pedals, and everything. Then you have the rudder, same as the elevators, beautiful. And then you have the exhaust. I know from the Plasma video that these don't have any slide molding, so they are holeless, but you can always go and try to carve it out, or you can look for third-party 3D printed ones, which I bet there are going to be loads on the market now, as this kit is probably sought after. And let's have a look at the last one, the body. The plane, again, beautiful detail all the way. And then you have the tropical chin right here. Another bottom. Ooh, you have two. Again, the choices, man. And then the auxiliary tanks, the prop. Hold on a second. And we have another set of. Okay, yeah, there are choices for the exhausts. Good to know. And then the prop, or like one set of exhausts is for the previous version and this one is for the tropical. I don't really know. I'm not an expert on the topic of hurricanes. And then we have the other set, other half of the fuselage. Then we have the bombs. They're looking nice as well. And I'll be honest, I was glaring at the plastic and I haven't seen any sink marks, haven't seen any kind of seam lines, flashes. So I don't have to be a janitor when I'm building this one, so I don't have to clean too much. And now let's have a look at the clear parts, which again, resealable bag, a modeler's best friend, I say. And then let's have a look at this. Okay, looking good, nice, clear. There are no damages, no scratching, nothing of that sort. And some distortion perhaps, but it's still good. And then lastly, the front part of the canopy, and then some extras. That is really, really good. And my friends, there you have it. That is the Hurricane Mark II Tropical. It is a lovely kit and well worth the 45 euros. And yeah, I wish other European manufacturers, not going to name any, but I wish other manufacturers would follow suit and would try to strive for the same level of detail as Arma Hobby does now. And if anyone who is from Arma Hobbies or is related to or friends with anyone at Arma Hobbies, then please do Italian planes as well, especially the Folgore. I really want one that is good now, because anything else on the market is just disappointing. So if you want to do something new, please do a Folgore or any other Italian plane. Really, anything goes at this point. Even the Breda 88, which was, we all know, a horrible plane, but even that, anything, just please do Italian planes as well, because there is a market for it. There is a market for Italian planes, and that market is starving right now for good quality planes. Well, good quality kits. Well, that's about me ranting again about that specific topic. And yeah, I hope you liked this little unboxing. If you want to see more, then please let me know in the comments, and of course hit like and subscribe as well. That helps. And let me know if you would like to see an unboxing of all of the things that I have in my stash. It's mostly planes, well, 99% planes, but I do have a couple of ground vehicles. I do have a robot. Well, no, sorry, 2 robots actually. So if you want to see all the stash, then let me know, and I'm going to churn out these unboxing videos as fast as possible for your viewing pleasure and my enjoyment, because I do like to open my my collection up from time to time and just drool over them, and then boxing back up and doing nothing. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.